Hello, I'm Linda, and welcome to Body of Wisdom Yoga. This is a practice for opportunities for a little bit of twisting, just to create some space along the spine, and also a little bit of heart opening, just to take a moment to kind of counteract, right, all the sort of folding forward we do during the day. So this is a great practice to do at the beginning of your day or even at the end of the day when you're winding down. Come to a comfortable seat, so that might mean sitting up on a blanket or a bolster, and sit cross-legged. We're going to take the palms onto our thighs and just have your chin parallel to the mat. You can close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. We want to feel just the sitting bones becoming a little bit more grounded, right? And then just hugging the shoulder blades together. So if you kind of start to move the elbows back in space, you'll feel just a little bit of connection in that space between the shoulder blades. Hugging the belly in. We'll just take a few breaths here. So if you like to drop into a little bit stillness, maybe for 5 or 10 minutes, you can pause the video now. Right, and then take as long as you need just to come into your practice. Finding this stillness gets a little bit more comfortable the more you practice. The only thing you need to do right now is lengthen the inhalation and the exhalation of your breath. And then after your next exhalation, if your eyes are still closed, you can keep them like that. Start to drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Just feel a little bit of grounding through that left shoulder. Inhale, come back to center, and move to the opposite side. Just imagine I'm standing in the room with you, and I'm going to gently move your right shoulder away from your right ear. Come back up to center. Drop your chin towards your chest. Lengthening out through the back of the neck. Inhale back up to center. Start to take the back of the head toward the back of your mat. Take your gaze up toward the ceiling. Big breath here, and then come back to center. We'll do some gentle rolls with the cervical spine, dropping the right ear to the right shoulder, gently chin to chest, and gently over to the left. Do that again, coming back through center and over to the right. Beautiful. Lift your gaze back to neutral. Sit up tall. Then start to take your gaze over toward the right. Come back to neutral and then over the left shoulder, right? Just mirroring like this notion of backing out of your driveway, looking over your shoulder, and then come back to center. Release your palms from your mat and take a big breath in here. Reach up. And then notice I'm kind of crunching my shoulders toward my ears. Relax that down. Take the right palm down. Inhale, lengthen up and over. Yeah. Try not to lift up off that left hip. Just keep the hip down. Beautiful long stretch through the left rib cage all the way back up. Relax your shoulders. Left palm down, right arm up and over. Extending through the right side body. Inhale, come all the way back as we practice just opening up through the chest. Take your arms into that cactus shape. Again, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Big breath in. On your exhale, just keep your hips level. Start to take your gaze over toward the right. Inhale, come back to center. You'll maybe start to feel that twisting coming through, right, the thoracic spine. You might even sense that you're moving at the waist. One more breath here. Beautiful. Inhale, lift your arms up, interlace your fingers, press your palms toward the sky. We're going to exhale here, round your spine. Press your palms away from you. Look at your navel center. And with a big energetic breath, come back up. Again, exhale, rounding the spine. Press the palms away from you. Feel that length, now that opening in the upper back. I could stay there all day some mornings. And then one more time, exhale, round, pressing the palms away from you. And then on an inhale, come all the way back up. Beautiful. We're going to release the palms and you're going to switch the cross of your legs. So now in that non-habitual stance, and you'll notice for me, this is my tighter hip. So I'm going to put a block underneath my knee. So feel free to do that as well. Here, let's take a big breath up. Now I'm going to lower my right palm behind me, take my left hand to my right knee. With that inhale, sit up a little taller, and again, just rotating over the right shoulder. So this twisting will help us open up the muscles on the spine, create more space. One more big breath. And then inhale, lift all the way up and over to the opposite side. I find that these twists can be energizing. Just the more you can build that space, maybe feeling a little bit taller when you're done with your practice. Beautiful. Inhale, come all the way back up. And then exhale, lower your palms. Start to walk your hands forward. So you'll feel this forward fold in the hip creases, and then gently tuck your chin. Once you land wherever you are, maybe you're going to start to walk your hands out a little bit further. Notice where you're feeling any sensation. I can feel a big opening through that right hip crease. And then slowly come all the way back through center. Beautiful. Let's come off our seat. We're going to come onto the mat and onto the blanket, which is always a great prop to have. So I'm going to open up the blanket, take our knees on this cushion, take a big wide stance with your knees, take your big toes to touch, and then start to find your child's pose. So some of us might be right here, which is beautiful. Maybe you want to put a bolster underneath your chest. Maybe you're sinking a little bit deeper. Don't worry about it. Just fall into the shape. Feel your breath against your inner thighs, and let's walk our hands over toward the right. Maybe you've been in this shape hundreds of times. So perhaps this morning you start to walk your left fingers a little bit further forward. One more big breath. Start to walk your hands back through center. Keep your chest low. And again, extend through the right palm here. Maybe this side is feeling a little bit more open. You start to take your right palm on top of your left. Just take one more deep breath in. And then we'll come back through center, pausing here, pressing up onto the hands and knees and keeping the blanket underneath your knees, finding your table pose. So table is just a shape where your shoulders are above your wrists. your knees are below your hips. Engage to the belly. Take a big inhale here, then squeezing the shoulder blades together, take your gaze up. And with that strong out breath, just like we did seated, making that rounded shape. Continue on your own, moving with your breath. This morning, it's feeling good for me to lengthen a little bit more. Go through one more cycle. Big inhale. Big exhale. And then back through center. Beautiful. Gonna leave that left palm on the ground. Lift that right arm up into the air like you're gonna touch the ceiling. Take your gaze to follow it, right? And then exhale as we thread the needle here, threading that right arm underneath the left, and then come down wherever it feels good. So maybe if your right shoulder is off the mat, you have another blanket or a pillow, right? And then as you reach your right fingers away from you, feel that opening between your spine and the right shoulder. Beautiful. Inhale, press back up. Just finish this shape, taking the palm up and then down. That's opening across the chest as well. Next, left arm goes up, right? Spreading through the collarbones. And I really like to think about reach as far as you can and then gently come down. And use a pillow under the shoulder. Relax the left temple. Big breaths here. One more big breath. Press into that right palm. Lift the left arm up. Beautiful. I just felt a little pop in the spine, and then come back down. All right, from here, we're going to walk our hands just about a little bit, 2 handprints forward. I'm going to tuck the toes. I'm going to find, right, our first downward dog here. I'm going to remove the blanket, but what we're going to do is take a shorter downward facing dog so both my heels can come down easily to the mat. And you can pedal out your feet here. All right, it might feel a little bit awkward. Don't worry about it. And then if it's available to you, lowering both heels down, we're going to take that right palm and wrap it somewhere around maybe the left calf, maybe the left ankle. I'm starting to look under my left armpit, feeling a nice rotation here in the spine. Not an easy shape, but just use your breath to stay with it. Exhale, take that right palm down, pause for a moment, right? I feel I'm locking out my knees, so I'm going to just keep a slight bend in the knees, left palm around right calf, rotating the whole torso toward the right side of my space. Just energetically press into your right palm, and then slowly come back to center. From here, just bend your knees a little bit. Walk your palms 1 print forward so you can just find more length between your hands and your feet. Come up high on your tiptoes. Bend your knees, and then let's walk the feet to the top of the mat. So it might take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. It doesn't matter. Take a deep breath in here, lengthen your spine. And then on the exhale, let's bend the knees a lot, clasp opposite elbows. And I just want you to kind of lower down into a forward fold. I'm just grabbing my blocks here. Right, so we're in this forward fold. Palms are clasping opposite elbows, just kind of rock from side to side. We're releasing the low back. One more breath, and then when you're ready, release your palms, lift halfway up. I've got both blocks in front of my feet. So there's 3 different heights, right? I'll take it on the second height here. You could even come up higher, right? And I'm gonna lower my right palm onto that block, bend that right knee a lot. So just start to feel the opening in your left hamstring. Maybe you start to rotate and open up the chest, right? So you could stay right here. Try not to drop all your weight into that right palm. Maybe your arm comes up. It doesn't have to, only if that encourages the length across the chest. One more big breath. Exhale, lower down. Just pause here. Left palm down. Left knee bends, right arm comes up, or not, right? Try to keep that right hip pulling back, feeling the energy like you're gonna touch the ceiling with those right fingers. Exhale, lower down, beautiful. Take a big breath in here, find your monkey pose, and we're gonna bend the knees. I'm gonna use my blocks. We're gonna step that left foot all the way to the back of the mat. So you're in a runner's lunge, but lower that left knee down. So you can always use your blanket here. Just kind of introducing yourself to this low lunge. Start to walk your hands up onto your right thigh and bend a little bit more deeply into that right knee. Yeah, feel what you're feeling on the left side, and then take a big breath in here. So just this nice, stable, low lunge. One more breath. I'm going to take my left palm to my right knee. Inhale here. Start to open up toward the long end of the mat on the right side. And you can use this left palm to kind of guide your right knee so it doesn't just splay open. Notice that firm connection through the back of the left foot, right, the top of the left foot. One more breath. Inhale, come back to center, take your arms up. And then exhale, lower down. Let's get into that right hamstring a little bit. So using your blocks here on any height, start to straighten that right knee. And I always kind of need to slide it out a little bit. Using your blocks, take a big breath in, a little bit of rotation in the chest, and then lowering the chest toward that right thigh. Just breathing here, almost like you're going to take your chin right down to your shin. One more breath. Beautiful. So let's start to lower that right foot. You can use your blocks to tuck the toes, and now the left foot is going to meet the right. Again, it might take several times. When they meet, full breath in to find that reset in the spine, bend the knees, and then step that right foot back, 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 back. All right, left knee is over that left ankle, lower down. Right, we want to feel that foundation, the top of the right foot, the left foot is strong. Lift the torso up. Right hip is moving forward. And then start to lift your arms. Let's just stay here for a few breaths. Right, a lot of balance here because we're not on 2 feet next to one another. So just be where you are. One more breath. And then right palm comes down. Take a big inhale and rotate over toward the left. Maybe your gaze goes toward that left thumb. Right, and in this shape, no matter how much you practice, right, you'll feel something, some opening, some release through those hips, and then come back to center, lift the arms up, lower down, and then let's pay some attention to that left hamstring. Straighten the legs, shift back. So my right hip is over my right knee, big breath in, and then fold forward. So everybody has a favorite pose. This, I think, might be mine. Just opening through the left side, keeping that left foot flexed. Everything is active. You can feel the lengthening through the left side body. Beautiful. Inhale, come all the way back up. So from here, we're going to exit a little bit differently. I'm going to use my blocks. I'm going to take that left knee back to meet the right knee. Take the knees wide, and let's find that child's pose. Again, if you feel like you need some added support, right, take child's pose with a bolster, which is so yummy. It feels so good. But we should all find a child's pose that feels comfortable, right? Even if it's not with a prop, maybe with a prop. Take one more big breath here. Beautiful. And then lift all the way back up. Maybe remove the bolster. We're going to come to sit down on the mat, extending the legs forward. Right? Keep the knees bent, and I'm going to just really root down through my feet. I'm going to lower down all the way to the mat, right? And maybe some of us will just want to come back down using the forearms, right? Whatever makes sense to you, try to engage through the belly and come all the way down onto your back. When you're there, start to take a moment to hug your knees in toward the chest, right? Maybe start to make some circles with the ankles, going clockwise and counterclockwise. And then we're going to lower the feet to the ground. So I'm on a wide mat here, which is a really nice, but you're probably on a little narrower mat. So we're going to lift the hips and come to the edge of your mat on the left side, and you're going to extend your legs. So we're finding this banana shape. I'm going to start to walk my feet over to the right, maybe crossing that left ankle over the right. And a couple options for your arms. You can take your arms overhead. Just start to walk your arms, your hands over to the right. Maybe right fingers take your left wrist. Maybe you come into cactus shape, whatever feels better through the upper back. So a long stretch on the left side body. I want to feel a little bit more through the side body, through the torso. So I'm going to reach a little bit further toward that right corner of the mat. Take one more big breath here. If it doesn't feel comfortable crossing the ankles, just uncross them. Beautiful. And then release the arms down by your side. Bend your knees. And then we're going to lift the hips and we're going to take them over to the right edge of the mat. Lengthen the legs. Start to walk your legs over to the left. Crossing at the ankle, arms come up and over. So we did some side bends on our seat. Right? And it's really nice to do this on your back because you have the support of the earth. Now I can feel a little bit more length from that right hip point all the way up through the right pinky finger. One more full breath in. And exhale, relax. Relax your arms down by your side. Uncross your ankles and just bend your knees. We're going to lift the hips and they're going to come back to the center of your mat. So now I'm going to just make a little motion to grab my block. Maybe yours is closer by. We're going to lift the hips and put the block underneath the lowest part of your back, your sacrum. So maybe on the lowest height, I'm going to come up to the second height today. Right, and that might, I've already practiced this morning, so I'm a little bit more open, but you might want to just come on to that lowest level. right? Have your fingers sort of grazing through the heels. I'm just going to take my arms out into this T shape. You're going to stay here and just breathe into the low belly, the navel center, and the chest. Just really feeling that 3-part breath opening up, and the shape helps to counteract all the kind of slumping, I like to say, right, that we do when we're sitting down for dinner or at the computer, right? And you can feel the energy just kind of emanating from the whole front side of the body. Take one more 3-part breath, low belly, mid belly, upper torso, one more breath, and then exhale, lower all the way down. Beautiful. And we're going to take our arms down by the side, and I'm going to lift my feet off of the mat, right? And we're going to start to take our legs into the air, right? So again, this might feel like too much for you, and if it does, you can always bring your body to a wall in your room, wherever you're practicing, right? And we're just going to stay here for a few breaths. But this is a very beneficial shape to take toward the end of your day, especially if you're traveling or doing a lot of walking. All right, maybe staying here for a few minutes longer. I'm just going to take about 3 more breaths. All right, beautiful. When you're ready, and there's certainly no rush, bend your knees and lower your feet to the ground. Start to lift your hips and remove the block just over to the side. Take your arms back to that T shape. Take your feet as wide as your sticky mat. Your heels are grounding down, your toes are out. We're going to drop both knees over to the right and then over to the left. Yeah. And as you move, you can turn the gaze of your eyes in the opposite direction of your knees, or you can just keep them toward the ceiling. One more time to the left. And then next time your knees are over to the right, let them gently fall there. Again, they don't have to touch the ground at all. In fact, you can use a block for a little support, right? Big breaths here. So another option is to take that right ankle, on top of that left knee. Now this is pretty big bind, so experiment. If it feels like too much, just take it out and come back to using the support of the block. One more breath, come back up to center, and then shift sides here. Knees over to the left and gaze to the right. And actually, the block underneath that knee feels very supportive, and I think it even helps, right, open up that hip joint a little bit more. That might just be me because we're twisting the spine here again. Breathe and help to activate that parasympathetic nerve, right? Telling us it's safe to just rest and relax. Beautiful. And then inhale, take your knees back up to center. We're going to heel toe the feet together. Lift your feet off of the ground. Separate your knees. And then as you take the soles of the feet together, finding your happy baby shape. maybe taking your palms behind your thighs, feet are going toward the ceiling. Just relax your shoulders. Take your knees as wide as feels comfortable. Soften the shoulder blades onto the mat. One more breath here. Beautiful. Inhale, start to take your knees together. You're going to give yourself a big squeeze here. Flex your feet. Maybe some of us would want to take our body into the shape of a little ball, so lift your head off of the mat, but only do this if you're comfortable, right, lifting and it feels safe on the neck. And then as you're ready, we're going to lower the hands to the ground and you're going to extend your legs long as we move into that final resting shape of Shavasana. So heels are grounding, feet are wide, palms are facing up. Take a moment just to feel the low back settling in. Right, relax. Let the shoulders just melt into the mat. And try to resist controlling the body. Let the muscles soften, let the breath become just its natural rhythm. And when you are ready to move out of Shavasana, start to make motions back in the body, wrists and ankles. Might even get an extra little air pop there. Start to take the legs together, arms up overhead, experiencing that full body stretch. And then guiding your knees into the chest. Rock over to the right or left side. It doesn't really matter. Finding that fetal position. Pause here for 2 or 3 cycles of breath. And then when you're ready, just pressing yourself up into a cross-legged seat once again. Crossing at the ankles, bringing the palms to the heart center, and that sort of wonderful feeling of sitting up tall. Take a deep breath in and tuck the chin, bowing your head to ceiling in the practice. The divine light in me honors and recognizes the divine light in each one of you. Namaste.